Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about another Theo Wanne mouthpiece that I got recently, which is a Brahma, but for tenor saxophone. So the Brahma for tenor saxophone is the same thin bullet shape that it is for the baritone saxophone, and I was really curious if I would like it. I ordered up a whole bunch of Theo Wanne tenor pieces because I was kind of curious on how they would be. If you watched my last video on the baritone saxophone Brahma, you know how much I enjoyed playing on it, and I've started using it at gigs and for recordings, and I've really liked the dark, warm tone, but also the ability to get some really nice bark, sort of a Pepper Adams sort of sound. So I was curious what was going to happen on the tenor sax. I tried out the Gaia, and I tried out the Lakshmi, because I thought maybe I would want something a little more traditional, but it turns out I was really in love with the sound profile of the Brahma. This Brahma tenor saxophone mouthpiece reminds me a lot of, like, say, a Berg Larsen, similar to what it is on the baritone saxophone. But surprisingly, this is a very dark mouthpiece. It gives you an incredibly husky, bluesy tone, which is something I'm always looking for in a tenor mouthpiece, because I always feel like I play really bright and kind of loud and obnoxious. So I really wanted something that could kind of give me some weight to my sound, and lo and behold, it turned out it was the Brahma. The Brahma has a pretty pronounced baffle, similar to the baritone saxophone version. And when you take a look at it, it's pretty big. You know, I was thinking that I was gonna have a really bright and a really direct sound, but it turns out this mouthpiece takes a little bit of effort to play, which I appreciate in a mouthpiece. Sometimes it's difficult to play on a mouthpiece that activates too easily because the sound comes way out and then you're just stuck with whatever comes out and you don't have a lot of tone shaping. This mouthpiece has a ton of tone shaping and a ton of possibilities for playing loud, for playing soft, for playing really bright and aggressive, but also for playing subdued and kind of bluesy. In a lot of ways, I could see a Plas Johnson sound coming out of this really easily, and on the first gig I played on it, I really thought to myself, man, this is kind of a Stan Getz kind of vibe too. So it's a really versatile mouthpiece, and I've really appreciated it. The mouthpiece comes with the same ligature as the baritone. It also comes with the tip cap for protecting it while it's in your case, as well as the great zipper pouch. But I also sprung for the actual reed cap. So now, while you're at the gig, you can actually slide that over the top of your mouthpiece and ligature. Now, one drawback of the reed cap is, if you like using this to protect your tip while it's in the case, and the plastic on the bottom to protect your table, you unfortunately can't get the cap on there too. So now you have an extra accessory floating around in your case. It's a small thing, but it would just be nice if they could either be combined into one unit or at least give me enough room for that. The ligature looks the same as it does on the baritone, and it works about the same way. It seats the reed well, it's very positive, and once you tighten it down, that reed's not going anywhere. So I really have appreciated these ligatures so far, and for the short term, I tend to use them exclusively, and I haven't really tried out a bunch of different ligatures to see if I would like something better, because these do work pretty darn well. They're sized for the mouthpiece, and because the screw thread is quite big, it really has a lot of room for different sized reeds. That's one of my complaints of some ligatures, like the Van Doren MO. If you put on a really thin reed that has not much meat on the back, the ligature doesn't quite fit right because there's just not enough reed there. But this prevents that by having plenty of headroom for screwing down on whatever reed you choose to use. So far, I've been sticking with my good old Van Doren ZZs that I've been playing on for years now. They're fairly bright, but they also have some nice character to them, and I really think they do pretty darn well, so I'm not really in the market for changing out, but I will say, because this mouthpiece is a little huskier than I'm used to, I may have to do a little bit of filing on the reed to kind of let out some of the low end, because it's just not quite as easy as some of the other mouthpieces I've played on recently. If you're curious about how it all fits on there, you can check out my baritone saxophone video, and that'll give you an idea of how the reed fits on with the ligature. But one thing I will say, as kind of a reminder, is on this one, like many of these ring ligatures, you do have to seat the reed first, then slip the ligature on, which means you really got to be careful if you're putting it on in the dark so you don't accidentally chip the reed tip as you're putting it on there. Again, once you get it aligned, and you give it a couple of good turns, that reed is secure and is not going anywhere. I haven't had much trouble with the foot moving the reed while I tighten it, but like with any ligature, you do have to be a little careful because as you apply pressure, it can reseat the reed a little bit. So just be forewarned to double check before you start playing. But again, it has not been a serious problem. So let's see how this thing sounds on my Yamaha custom tenor. So what do you think? I think it sounds pretty darn good. I'm really enjoying the dark, husky tone. I really like the bluesy sound I can get out of it. And I'm looking forward to my upcoming performance with jazz legend Ken Poplowski. We're going to be doing another recording, and I'm sure I'm going to make some great use out of this mouthpiece. Again, they're crafted with exceptional quality. They really play very well. I will say that the walls on this mouthpiece are pretty thin, so be a little careful about roughhousing with it because at, again, a street price of like $700, they're pretty expensive to be knocking around. But if you're really looking for a mouthpiece that can really give you a whole lot for your money, I think this is a really great contender. It plays really good, it has great intonation, and again, I really like that dark, warm sound. It's something I've been looking for a long time on tenor, and I think I finally have found it. If you're enjoying the videos, please like and subscribe to the channel. We've got some great music coming out, an album called Might, which features the trumpeter Delwood Anderson and a whole bunch of my friends, and it's going to be a really great project. It's kind of a funk fusion thing, so check it out. It comes out in October, so with that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.